So sweet, 24 of the oldest candies are still available. Candies have been around for a long time, easily over 150 years. Although certain sweets come and go, some surprisingly popular varieties have been around since the early days. Here are 24 of the oldest candies still available. 1 of 24. Payday 1932. There are a lot of chocolates on this list, but Payday isn't one of them, at least not the original version. A chocolate-covered Payday was introduced in 2020. The OG Payday is a peanut-covered caramel stick that first appeared in 1932 by the Hollywood Candy Company, but in a pattern, you'll get used to it. Curd, now it is. Made by the Hershey Company. 2 of 24. Three Musketeers 1932. Ever wondered where the Three Musketeers got their name from? This is an obvious reference to the 1844 novel The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, but the name was chosen because the first Three Musketeers bars, introduced in 1932, contained 3 nougat flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and berry. Frangie other flavors were dropped in favor of chocolate, the most popular, but varieties such as mint, cherry, orange, and mocha have recently been introduced. 3 of 24. Mars Bar 1932. You might think that the first Franklin Clarence Mars candy would be the Mars Bar, but that's incorrect. In fact, this particular candy has been made by different types of Mars before. The Mars Bar, a caramel and nougat-filled treat sold mainly in the UK, is still old, having been introduced in 1932. 4 of 24. Snickers 1930. Snickers is another entry from Mars, but not the oldest. But it's the most popular. This peanut-wrapped chocolate bar, which also contains caramel and nougat, was introduced in 1930 and named after the Mars family horse. Until 1990, it had a completely different name in the UK, where it was known as the Marathon Bar. 5 of 24. Zagnut 1930. Americans have been snacking on Zagnut bars, a combination of peanut butter and coconut, since the 1930s. Although now made by Hershey's, the product was originally made by the D.L. Clark Company, a confectioner who later became known for an older confection. This list. 6 of 24. Heath Bar 1928. In 1928, brothers Bayard and Everett Heath began selling a chocolate-covered confection called Heath's English Toffee, now known as Heath's Bar. The company was sold in 1989 and then in 1996, when its current owner, Hershey, bought it. 7 of 24. Charleston Chew 1925. The name Charleston Chew always sounded old to us because we associated it with the 1920s dance and not a beach town in South Carolina. As it turns out, the chocolate-covered nougat candy bar is, in fact, named after a dance first started by the Fox Cross Candy Company in 1925, when Charleston was all the rage. 8 of 24. Mr. Goodbar 1925. Mr. Goodbar is just a Hershey bar with peanuts, which is why this simple candy bar has been around for nearly a century. It was first introduced in 1925 and was said to have been made by the Chocolate Sales Corporation, a fictitious company used for the Mr. Goodbar brand because Milton Hershey initially did not want Hershey's associated with a bar containing peanuts. B. 9 of 24. Milky Way 1923. Here, the oldest offering from Mars, Inkwell, the oldest remaining offering. The Milky Way was created by Frank Mars in 1923 and was named after the popular milkshake flavor at the time. Due to the popularity of the caramel-filled chocolate bar, Mars began producing 2 variants, one with vanilla nougat and one with chocolate nougat. The latter is now one of the most popular candies in the world, but a version of the former called Midnight Darkness of the Milky Way survives. 10 of 24. Butterfinger 1923. Bart Simpson helped make Butterfinger popular in the 1990s, but the crunchy peanut butter candy predates The Simpsons by decades. In fact, Shirley Temple once captured them in one of the earliest examples of product placement in the 1934 film Bow, Darling. And even that was more than a decade after Butterfinger was invented in 1923 by Otto Schnering of the Curtis Candy Company in Chicago. 11 of 24. Abba-Zaba 1922. Abba-Zaba bars started in 1922, which gave them plenty of time to break the candy bar community apart. Not everyone is a fan of a white toffee filled with peanut butter, but some people are obsessed with it, which explains why the candy appears so often in pop culture and is still around 100 years later. 12 of 24. Baby Ruth 1921. Credit another winner to Otto Schnering, founder of the Curtis Candy Company, and inventor of Butterfinger, also the brainchild of Baby Ruth. Originally, a refreshed version of the candy cake bar, chocolate peanuts, caramel, and nougat, was renamed after President Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth Cleveland, or so the company claimed for years. In November 1921, when the company claimed to first use the name in their trademark application, Ruth Cleveland had already been deceased for 17 years, having died of diphtheria at age 12. Meanwhile, New York Yankees slugger Babe Ruth had spent 1921 mashing an otherworldly 59 home runs and was one of the most popular people in the entire country. Draw your own conclusions. 13 of 24. Mounds 1920. Almond Joys have nuts, Mounds don't, and it's that simple difference that would make one think the two coconut candy bars were created around the same time, if not simultaneously. Instead, Mounds were created in 1920 by Connecticut candyman Vincent Nidido, and the Almond Joy didn't come around until 1946. 14 of 24. O. Henry. 1920. The O. Henry is old. How old, you ask? The exact origins of this candy bar are as murky as its peanut butter, caramel, and fudge center, but historians agree that the O. Henry was introduced by the Williamson Candy Company of Chicago in 1920. Whether George Williamson invented the bar or bought it from another candy creator is still up for debate, and today it is manufactured by Ferrara Candy Company and the Hershey Company, although neither currently distributes it in the U.S. 15 of 24. 1920. For years, we gave zero thought to the idea that a zero bar is an old candy bar. Imagine our surprise when we found out this white chocolate fudge bar packed with caramel, peanuts, and almond nougat was actually invented all the way back in 1920. Hollywood Brands was the first to make it, but production rights now belong to Hershey. 16 of 24. Clark Bar 1917. To us, the Clark Bar always had an old-sounding name, probably because you rarely meet anyone named Clark anymore. The bar, now known for its peanut butter and toffee core, was first introduced in 1917 by the D.L. Clark Company, although at the time, it actually came with a core of caramel and ground peanuts. The Clark Bar was once popular nationwide, but now you'll have to do some searching to find one, as they're generally only available in the greater Pittsburgh area. 17 of 24. Fry's Turkish Delight 1914. People often think the Hershey Company was the first to mass-produce a chocolate bar, but it was actually J.S. Fry & Sons, a British confectioner. A version of that bar is still in existence, and so is a later offering from J.S. Fry & Sons, the Fry's Turkish Delight, which was first made in 1914. As the name suggests, the bar includes a Turkish Delight, a sugary gummy candy rose-flavored, in this case encased in milk chocolate. 18 of 24. Goo Goo Cluster 1912. Although it's not bar-shaped, the Goo Goo Cluster is still considered a candy bar and one of the oldest candy bars still around. 2. Not only can you find this chocolate, marshmallow nougat, and caramel-filled treat in candy racks across the country, but you can also still get them straight from the source, Goo Goo Chocolate Co. in Nashville. 19 of 24. Milk Chocolate Bar with Almonds 1908. Can we acknowledge that Milton Hershey wouldn't allow his company to openly manufacture a chocolate bar with peanuts, but he was totally fine with almonds, and Milton didn't waste any time introducing the almond variety. The Hershey Chocolate Company was founded in 1894, and Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar with Almonds debuted in 1908. 20 of 24. Toblerone 1908. The Toblerone was created in Switzerland in 1908 by Emil Baumann and Theodore Tobler. This chocolate bar filled with nougat, almond, and honey can still be bought today. It still comes in the form of numerous connected triangular prisms, and it's still emblazoned with the same original packaging. 21 of 24. Dairy Milk Bar 1905. Cadbury has been in the chocolate business since 1824, starting with the sale and production of drinking chocolate. John Cadbury eventually introduced a dark chocolate bar in 1849, a milk chocolate bar in 1897, and the dairy bar, which featured an even higher amount of milk, in 1905. That last variety is still available today and is the most popular chocolate bar in the UK. 22 of 24. Hershey Bar 1900. Some Hershey bars proudly include "since 1894" on their wrappers, but that's just the year the Hershey Company was founded. Milton S. Hershey actually got his start producing candies and caramels before deciding to focus on chocolate in 1894 and making his first bar in 1900. 23 of 24. Lindt Bar 1879. Swiss chocolatier Rodolphe Lindt founded his first company in 1879 and soon started making chocolate bars with the use of a cone machine, which he invented earlier that same year. The device made chocolate bars taste better, gave them a less gritty texture, and allowed them to be mass-produced much more easily. Rodolphe's company was acquired by Johann Rudolf Sprungli-Amann in 1899 to form what is now known as Chocolate-Fabriken Lindt and Sprungli AG, A.K. Lindt, which still produces chocolate bars to this day. 24 of 24. Fry's Chocolate Cream 1866. The first mass-produced chocolate bar was J.S. Fry & Sons Fry's Cream Stick, which was introduced around 1850. You can no longer buy that exact bar, but you can buy the version created in 1866, Fry's Chocolate Cream. It features a fondant filling and is currently produced by Cadbury, as the company merged with J.S. Fry & Sons in 1919. So sweet. 24 of the old.
Let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking